Hi, my name is Taryn, and I am 27. I'm from the United States, particularly Kansas. Today I want to share with you my story of adversity so that it might motivate you to push through if you experience adversity yourself, and that it might inspire you to push beyond the realms of what you believe is possible, because that is truly what helped to get me through my challenges and where I am today. So my adversity is that I've had PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, since I was about 7. I was diagnosed officially when I was around 16, so about 11 years ago. Really, my adversity was from my mom. She has a lot of Munchausen, which is making themselves sick, Munchausen by proxy, making others sick, as well as hypochondria, believing that they are sick and believing that others might be sick. I had to endure a lot of psychological, emotional, physical, and mental, spiritual, you name it, abuse when I was growing up. Because of that, I didn't know how to set healthy boundaries for myself, and I wasn't actually wired to understand the difference between safe individuals versus unsafe individuals for quite some time. And consequently, I ended up in a lot of situations where I ended up experiencing sexual assault from a lot of my peers, and I ended up in some abusive relationships during my adolescence and my young adult life. So my mom actually fought for custody of me up until the point that I was walking down the graduation aisle. I graduated with 2 high school diplomas, 1 GED, high school diploma, not my GED, but you gather, a standard high school diploma and an IB diploma. I worked very hard for those, and I decided to study journalism at the University of Kansas, the William Allen White School, best J school in the country, Rock Chalk. It took me about 5 years to get through school, and I was only just coming to the terms with the fact that I had been diagnosed with PTSD and just becoming free from being under my mom's constant desire to own me as a human, and finally being free from that when I found out in college that my sister, whom is okay now, had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma leukemia cancer. So my problems I wasn't really able to cope with immediately, even though I was away from my abusive mom, because my sister was ill. And I should mention that my father is my best friend. He's part of the reason that I was able to get through this tragedy that was my mom's relationship with our family. And as I said, my sister is thankfully okay now, but she had to do chemo and radiation for a couple of years. At one point, she had less than, I think, 10% chance of survival. So I've been through a lot. I have been through a lot of trauma. And when you go through a lot of trauma, your central nervous system begins to acknowledge things around you as being unsafe and making you feel constantly what they call hypervigilant, which is feeling anxious, feeling scared, afraid, very, very, very stressed. That's part of the reason why it took me 5 years to get through college. I had a number of suicide attempts in my life, beginning when I was 10. It was the first time that I tried to hang myself when I was prescribed to an antidepressant that my mom essentially bombarded a doctor to prescribe me, even though I don't recall ever saying that I was depressed. The last attempt, which was at some point in college, actually perhaps some point just after. I've had a number of attempts to take my life, but it is something that I have come out of the other side of. My most recent attempt was in my early 20s, as I was getting out of a very emotionally abusive and emotionally neglectful relationship just after I got out of KU and graduated at last with my diploma. My sister had been cancer cell-free for a couple of years. She actually just got married this last year. Yay. During my last suicide attempt, I had a moment of real clarity where I feel I found my true purpose. I realized I didn't know what my purpose specifically was, how I was going to live it, but I knew that my purpose was to help others. It was to help myself so that I could then go help others. I've always been a really creative person, and I knew that there was something creative that I could do that would help me to help myself and help others. So I decided to leave the journalism industry. At the time, I was a DJ for 2 different radio stations and a morning news anchor. And I was producing commercial spots on air, radio voices and all that. And I did like it, but I just felt the need to move into my father's home, where I actually am still today, happily, and to focus on my health and my fitness. I had never really, even though I had been a competitive dancer and done theater and all of these different active things, I had never really gone to a gym, and I had never really focused on healing myself through nutrition and activity and spirituality. And so that's where I really discovered strength training, yoga, and nutrition. And I threw myself into fitness, and it changed my whole world. And so I decided in 2017 to get my first fitness certification to teach Zumba dance, all the different types of Latin dance. And I was like, wow, this is really powerful stuff. I can really affect people, and I can make a living doing this. So then I decided to become a personal trainer. And since then, I have 2 personal training certifications, one through NASM and one through ACE. I am an ACE group fitness instructor. I am a registered yoga teacher. I did the 200-hour Life Power yoga teacher training through Lifetime Fitness. And I am a precision nutrition level 1 nutrition coach. So I have a lot of fitness certifications, and I became a full-time personal trainer of the master level, yoga teacher, nutrition coach, and onboarding specialist for our new members at the company Lifetime Fitness. I did all of this, and I didn't just make a career change. I figured out a way to take the negative energy that felt like it was sucking my soul away, because it was, and I figured out a way to transmute that into something positive. Adversity, I truly believe, is given to souls who have the power of handling it, and not just handling it, not just dealing with it, definitely not pushing it down, but healing from it and sharing that ability to heal with others around them, because that is truly what this world is about, is the effect that you have on others. I choose to have mine be positive, and I truly believe that you can be the change that you wish to see. And the advice that I would give someone who's going through a dark time is to practice mindfulness, which is to bring yourself into the present moment without judgment. And it doesn't just mean that you say, oh, I'm present. You notice how you feel. Notice the physical aspects of the feeling, whether if it's stress, you might have tension in your neck. If it's anxiety, your breath is going to shorten. Notice it, and without trying to change it, just simply go, okay, that's interesting. I'm feeling anxious about going to the grocery store. I wonder why that is. I'm not going to ruminate about it. I'm just going to note that that's interesting, and then perform an eye scan of the room until your eyes find something interesting, and then look at that object. That's an interesting painting. You know, I haven't looked at that in a while. That's funny. As you do that, it's actually science. It's evolutionary psychology. Your central nervous system will then start to calm itself down, and you can feel that physical shift happening. That is something that I would recommend you do, especially if you feel like you're having a crisis, but also just on a daily basis, because our nervous systems can really get wired in all sorts of different directions if we allow them to, and if we don't know any better. And for many, many years, I didn't know any better. The other piece of advice that I would give someone who's going through a hard time is to set boundaries for yourself. It is important, it is vital that you make space for you, and that can often mean putting up walls. Not walls, isolating yourself isn't always bad. You can isolate yourself in a positive way. Don't shut everyone out, but if you feel like you need to focus more time on you, don't let other people guilt you into doing something just because they want someone to go out with them. Being social can be really positive and it can be a great release, and we need to be social. We're social creatures, especially after this quarantine, right? But if you feel at the end of the day that you don't have anything left to give, then don't force yourself, because energy is a physical thing. Everything is vibrating all the time. I'm vibrating, you're vibrating, this room is vibrating, and you only have so much vibration, right? So you want to create a positive vibration, and what you say you will become. So if you consistently beat yourself down, which mental illness tends to make us think that we need to do, that's how you're going to end up feeling. Take it one step at a time. Create one good habit each day or each week or each month. Don't overwhelm yourself. Set yourself up for success. Have a good support system. And if you don't have a good support system, you can find one and you can create one. Shoot, follow me on Instagram at Taryn Ray Smith. I'll be your support system, or at least I will be supportive of you. And one more piece of advice that I would give is that look for red flags. Look for red flag behaviors in yourself. Make sure that you are being the kind of person that you would want to be around. Make sure that you are being around the kind of people that you want to be around. If someone is draining your energy, there's probably a reason behind it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that person is bad, but you should not feel drained from interacting with people. You might feel tired. We all get emotional fatigue, compassion fatigue, but people shouldn't drain you. There are a lot of amazing people in this world, but there are also people who are dangerous, and there are also people who want to hurt others. And that's their journey and that's their path, but you don't have to walk down their path. You have your own path, and you are meant to be walking on it. The only other thing that I will leave you with is just that you are exactly where you're supposed to be right here, right now. And I truly believe that. I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to my story about adversity. It's a long, sordid tale. There's a lot involved there that I could not even begin to go into the depths of. I've been through a lot of things. A lot of things. From a lot of people, and from one person who was supposed to protect me. But I have so much to be grateful for. I have my dad, who is my best friend and my rock, and I love him more than anything in the world. And I have my service dog, Fiona. I don't know, she might take tie for first place of being loved the most. And I have myself, most importantly. I have these tools, mindfulness, yoga, exercise, health and fitness, nutrition, to all keep me safe. And bundled all together, I just truly live in bliss more often than not. It doesn't mean always that mental health isn't still an ongoing struggle for me. It is. This past fall, I had to take 7 weeks from my position because I had started to lose myself again. Don't lose yourself, okay? And if you feel like you're feeling lost, I promise that the true highest version of yourself is right inside of you right here, right now.